2:23 p.m. Message sent. 11:41 p.m. 0 replies. You've checked your screen 30 times. Your head knows there are 1,000 possible explanations. Your body ignores them. Your chest feels crushed. Your breathing locks up. Your mind turns into a courtroom. It hunts for flaws, rewinds audio messages, invents mistakes. You feel real pain. It isn't anxiety. It isn't stress. It's physical pain. Literally. The problem isn't the silence. The problem is your brain. You know it's an overreaction, but you can't stop. It's not emotional weakness. It's an evolutionary hack. A 200-million-year-old survival system. It has one single mission: to prevent the worst possible death. Being excluded from the tribe. 2003, University of California. The neuroscientist Naomi Eisenberger turns on the monitors. Volunteers get into the MRI machines. The game begins. A screen. A ball. 3 avatars. But the human doesn't know the truth. The other 2 players are fake. They are computer code. The passes happen. The machine passes the ball back. Minute 3. The system changes. The code excludes the human. The machines only pass the ball between themselves. The volunteer watches. They are left out on the screen. In that exact second, the MRI scanner goes crazy. The anterior cingulate cortex lights up. The anterior insula explodes. Biology doesn't lie. These 2 areas don't process sadness. They process physical pain. They register a broken bone. Cut skin. The volunteer's brain didn't interpret the game as an insult. It triggered the alarm for severe physical trauma. To your nervous system, rejection is a broken bone. 2010, University of Kentucky. The scientist Nathan DeWall tests a theory. Does rejection use the physical pain pathways? If it does, then an over-the-counter painkiller could anesthetize the mind. He recruits dozens of volunteers. He splits the group in half. The first group swallows sugar pills, the placebo. The second group gets Tylenol. 3 weeks go by. The volunteers face the real world. They deal with silences, being ignored, rejections. They go back to the lab. The scans take place. The result is mind-blowing. The Tylenol group reports less social pain. The MRI screen confirms the report. The anterior insula dims. The pain alarm plummets. The pill fought off the exclusion. Science nailed down a fact: that a broken heart was never just poetry. It was a diagnosis. They just needed the scan to prove it. To understand this bug, look at mammals. Our design is different. A sea turtle breaks its egg and crawls to the ocean. Alone. Insects are born ready to walk, explore the environment, and find food by themselves. But humans are born defenseless. Without walking. Without feeding themselves. They depend on everything. For years. Here, isolation isn't just a problem. It's guaranteed death. The scientist Naomi Eisenberger mapped the code. When mammals evolved and began depending on the group to survive, the brain needed a way to warn us. Hey, if you end up alone, you die. Instead of building a brain region from scratch to process rejection, evolution pulled a wire and connected the social threat to an alarm that was already ready and tested. The physical pain circuit. They run on the same cable. It's the same electric shock. When your connection to the tribe is threatened, your brain doesn't create a new feeling. It just triggers the physical damage alert. If being rejected by the group causes the same burning sensation as a broken bone, your body will do everything it can to avoid both. The math of survival is cut and dry. Rejection needs to hurt like a fracture. That way, you never run away from the tribe. The ignored baby suffers physical pain. They cry out. The tribe comes back. They survive. The silent baby disappears. That's 200 million years of evolution. The brain doesn't differentiate between a rejection and a broken arm. You didn't evolve to be indifferent. You evolved to panic. The panic keeps you breathing. Things get complicated in the modern world. The brain was calibrated for the savannah, for the tribe where there were 50 people, where banishment meant the end. No fire, no weapons, no food, no protection against predators. In that world, the panic of being rejected was understandable. The panic kept you alive. But that same panic alarm goes off today. When you aren't invited to a party. When a text goes unanswered. When you post something and barely anyone likes it. The world isn't going to end because of this. But your brain can't tell the difference. It doesn't understand Wi-Fi. It hasn't updated its software. To the cingulate cortex, the world is binary. The silence on your phone is exile in the savannah. The Cyberball game is social death. The danger is fake. But the feeling hurts. Cyberball proved something even worse. Science cross-referenced 120 global studies and discovered a terrifying rule. The pain of exclusion is absolute. It doesn't matter your gender. It doesn't matter your age or your country. It didn't even matter if the person knew the truth, that the other players were just computer code. Being ignored hurt all the same. Scientists tested the extreme. They made the volunteer play against enemies. People they literally hated. Even then, being excluded from the game caused pain. For the rejection alarm, reason simply doesn't exist. But why does rejection destroy some and barely bother others? Year 1990. The psychologist Jeffrey Young discovers the reason. The answer is in childhood. If you were neglected early on, your mind creates a defense. Young called this schemas. Rigid rules about how the world is going to treat you. And the rejection schema attacks in two ways. The first way is abandonment, the absolute certainty that everyone is going to leave, where any silence turns into the beginning of the end. The second way is defectiveness, the belief that you were born broken, that you are the mistake. If they find out who you really are, they'll run away. They are two routes to the same abyss. The first screams, "They are going to leave me." The second whispers, "I am the problem." You don't choose to think this way. These schemas are automatic. They are lenses glued to your eyes since you were a kid. They filter reality. They distort doubt. A late text message doesn't mean lack of time. The lens translates the delay as confirmation. They don't want me. A neutral look on the street isn't exhaustion. The lens stamps the verdict. Clear rejection. Year 1996. Psychologists Downey and Feldman give it a name. Rejection sensitivity. Your brain doesn't just suffer. It expects the blow. It hunts for the signs. It exaggerates the impact. You go into hypervigilance. The radar never turns off. It scans every smile, every pause, every silence. The social world is full of doubts. But the radar hates the dark. When in doubt, it nails down the worst-case scenario. Ambiguity becomes confirmed rejection. This is where the real tragedy is born. The diagnosis becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. The fear alters your actions. You shut down. You attack. You smother the other person. Your behavior pushes people away. The group backs off. And the rejection finally happens. The math of trauma is cruel. The alarm fights for its own survival. It prefers to manufacture the pain rather than deal with the doubt. Your own panic pulled the trigger. Here is the brutal paradox. The rejection alarm created humanity. No other animal cooperates like us. No other species built cities, language, science, art. All of this was born from the fear of being excluded. Belonging to the tribe wasn't a choice. It was the law of survival. Remember checking your phone 30 times? The hardware is exactly the same. The anguish over an ignored text is the engine of our species. The same panic that ruins your day today was what united your ancestors in the dark. It was what guaranteed the fire and the hunt. You are not weak. You don't have an emotional problem. You carry an elite survival system. But it's running in the wrong century. Your brain looks at an empty screen and it sees exile in the savannah. The machine didn't fail. The alarm is real. The context is what's a lie. 11:41 p.m. You've checked your phone 32 times, but now the game has changed. You already know why. There is no cure for having a human brain. You will never be immune to rejection. No one is. But science offers one single loophole. Naming the ghost takes away its power. When you understand the machine, the despair hits the brakes. The logical mind wakes up. It takes control and warns you. The tribe didn't kick you out. Your system is just overloaded. The pain doesn't go away, but it shrinks in size. The uncertainty stops being an emergency in the savannah. It just becomes a factory defect. Old hardware screaming for nothing. The message might arrive tomorrow. It might never come. The silence on the other side hurts. But you survive. Because now you know, the wolf isn't real. What trigger breaks your alarm today? Being left on read on your phone, or being left out of the weekend plans? Comment down below, and I'll see you next time.